Welcome to the Resource Family Approval Online Orientation. Thank you for wanting to take the next step in opening your heart and home to becoming a resource family. The orientation will cover a basic understanding of the guidelines and requirements for Resource Family Approval homes, as stated in the written directives. What is the Quality Parenting Initiative, QPI? Who are our foster children and what are their needs? Role of caregivers and expectations of that role. The RFA application, forms and approval process. How to prepare your home for inspection. What is Children and Family Services? Children and Family Services, CFS, is the agency authorized and responsible for investigating allegations of abuse and neglect in Ventura County using Welfare and Institutions Code 300 and other applicable laws. CFS also provides services to children and families once they are involved in the child welfare system. Foster VC Kids is a program of CFS and includes the placement team, RFA team, and the caregiver support teams, RDS. Foster VC Kids' core values: to ensure that every child receives quality care and nurturing within a loving home and family. To ensure that caregivers receive the support they need as they care for children who have experienced trauma and loss. To ensure all children have a lifelong permanency, whether that be returning home with a strong safety network or through being welcomed by an unconditionally committed forever family.
In a resource parent, children really need a supportive environment, loving and caring, family-like atmosphere that is able to promote and really bring in that child's individual needs and support them with whatever they may need to be successful.
We also want to ensure that children are cared for within their local communities, school of origin, and culture whenever possible. We believe that each time a child is removed from his or her home, community, or culture, he or she suffered trauma and loss. Our priority is safety, both emotional and physical, and thus we seek to limit a child's experience of trauma associated with these additional losses. California Quality Parenting Initiative, QPI. The RFA process and the Quality Parenting Initiative, QPI, support California's Continuum of Care Reform, CCR, which recognizes that children need stable care by nurturing parents. Together, the RFA and QPI efforts work to build the capacity of the continuum of foster care placement options to meet the needs of vulnerable children in home-based family care. This increased capacity is essential to successfully moving children out of group homes and into families. As part of QPI, we continuously identify new ways to incorporate our caregivers as part of the child's safety network and their safety plan. This is a partnership approach and is based upon mutual respect, engagement, and support between social workers, caregivers, service providers, birth parents, and the child safety network. Through balancing our goals for nurturing and safety, children have an opportunity for healing and stability. We also want to ensure that children are cared for within their local communities, school of origin, and culture whenever possible. We believe that each time a child is separated from his or her home, community, or culture, he or she suffered trauma and loss. Our priority is safety, both emotional and physical. Thus, we seek to limit a child's experience of trauma associated with these additional losses. We aim to ensure that every child receives quality care and nurturing within a loving home. Caregivers receive the support they need as they care for children who have experienced trauma and loss. And all children have a lifelong permanency, whether that be by returning home with a strong safety network or being welcomed by an unconditionally committed forever family. The partnership we seek to engage and support our children and resource families in has the following beliefs. We believe that families can keep their children safe with support, and if they can't, we believe children should be cared for in a familiar, nurturing, and safe environment. And while they are in care, we believe every child is entitled to thrive through stability, family connections, quality treatment, and a voice in planning. We believe that through partnership and support, Parents can grow and change to safely parent their children. And if the children cannot return home, we believe all children deserve a sense of belonging, permanent and unconditional commitment in a lifelong family.
The most fulfilling part of being a resource family for me has been to meet all the children that have come through our home and getting to know not only them but their families as well.
Who are our foster children? Foster youth come in all ages, from birth up to 21 years of age. This includes single children as well as sibling groups. Children in Ventura County come into care for general neglect as a result of significant family instability, emotional or physical abuse, as well as sexual abuse or severe neglect. Some of our children have special health care needs, such as drug-exposed infants. Our children come from every ethnic and religious background, have various sexual orientations, and may be pregnant or parenting teens. Approximately 80% of the youth in Ventura County come into foster care due to general neglect. Because of this, it makes it especially important to find homes in these cities so that we can keep the children in their community and school of origin, with their friends and in familiar surroundings. When a child in foster care changes schools, statistics show they lose 3 to 6 months of learning, resulting in significant trauma and educational loss. Currently, 50% of children are separated from some or all of their siblings. Due to an insufficient number of caregivers, some children live in group homes, which can result in greater instability and trauma for kids. Without unconditionally committed families, children age out of foster care, highly increasing incidences of homeless, exploitation, incarceration, and premature death.
Having that foster parent at my teen years would have been very helpful for me, because I feel like having that support and probably happiness from a parent and the connection would have been very helpful for me at that time as a teen.
Children's needs. All children have basic needs when separated from their homes: to remain with their siblings, to be in a family-like setting regardless of their age, to remain in their school and communities of origin, to be cared for by nurturing families regardless of their age, sexual orientation, or medical mental health needs, to have their special needs met, to have healthy, supportive transitions, to be able to go home when it is safe. 70% of children reunify with their family within 12 months.
It's really fulfilling to see a child come into your home with a lot of needs that haven't been met. And when they leave your home, they're completely different people. They are taller, they're happier, they're healthier, and even their school they're doing so much better. That's really fulfilling to see that they see they're going to have a future and they have a choice, and it's all available for them now, and we care.
Reunification and permanency. Reunification, returning home, is always the first goal with children who are separated from their parents or families. CFS will always put reunification first, as long as it is in the best interest of the child. Stable care is critical while we work with families during the reunification process. A resource family typically provides a home for a child until permanency can be achieved. This can range anywhere from a few days to years. During this time, the children may reunify with their parents or families if it is safe to do so. Reunification may not occur due to the parent's inability to complete the services that the court has ordered them to do. If this occurs, CFS will seek a permanent plan for the child. Legal guardianship or adoption is a way to provide a safe and permanent home for children if their parents or families are unable to reunify safely with them.
The collaboration between foster parents and birth parents is really important in the reunification process. It keeps the connection flowing. It makes the parents feel like they are still a part of their children's lives, and that although they need a little extra support and a little extra guidance, that they're not being judged on that, and that they're constantly working on getting their children back.
Approximately 120 VC children are adopted each year from foster care. There are 100 children in long-term foster care who need permanency, many between the ages of 9 and 21. Adoption is a way to provide a safe and permanent home for children only if their parents or families are unable to reunify with them. The timeline for adoption varies child by child. Actively fostering children gives resource parents the opportunity to learn more about what kinds of challenges they may face when adopting a child from foster care. We offer post-adoption support services, which include medical insurance, Medi-Cal, and wraparound services. You will receive AAP funding until the child is 18, which may increase to 21 if the child has special needs. Once families are approved through the Resource Family Approval process, they will not be required to complete an additional approval process to provide permanency for a child. What is the Resource Family Approval RFA program? The Resource Family Approval RFA program is a new family-friendly and child-centered approval process that combines elements of the current foster parent licensing, relative approval, and approvals for adoption and guardianship. It is a streamlined process that eliminates the duplication of existing processes. RFA creates a framework for all families, including relative or non-related extended family members, called resource families, to receive the same information, training, and opportunities for support. A resource family completes one approval process and, once approved, may provide care on a short or long-term basis. Once approved, resource families will not have to undergo any additional approval or licensure if permanency is the best option for a child in care. Approval of a resource family, however, does not guarantee placement of a child. The child social worker will continue to make placement decisions based on what is in the best interest of the child.
It's important for people in the community to step forward and become resource families so that we're able to have a healthy pool of community members to really support each individual child. There are a variety of different types of children, and we really look for the best match in families to make sure that they feel the most comfortable and they're really able to meet the individual needs of the children or the child.
What is a resource family? A resource family, or RF, is an individual or couple that a county determines to have successfully met both the home approval standards and the permanency assessment criteria necessary for providing care for a related or unrelated child or youth who is a juvenile dependent under the jurisdiction of the juvenile court, or otherwise in care of a county child welfare agency department, or ward of the juvenile probation court. What are the reasons people become resource families? There are many reasons people choose to become resource families. Perhaps you've been asked to care for a specific child, such as a relative or a friend's child. Or you may have a home with a little extra room and want to provide a safe and loving environment for a child or children in need. Fostering a child or children is more than just providing a roof over their head and 3 meals a day. It's about fostering a nurturing and stable relationship. Relationships serve as the primary foundation for healing and are significant for our children in foster care. The relationship is not just with the child. Quality relationships and partnerships mean working with agency staff, service providers, social workers, and birth families. This looks differently for every family, but it maintains the essential feature of always keeping the child's needs and well-being central. We are looking for quality resource families who are willing to provide the unconditional committed relationship to a child or children and partner with those connected to the child and family. Resource family role and expectations. Provide quality care and supervision of children placed in the home. Offer empathy, stability, and flexibility. Integrate the child or children into your family. Parent with a trauma lens. Maintain and accurately track child's medical and education records. Work cooperatively with agency staff and community service providers. Transport the child to any appointments as necessary. Comply with court orders, laws, county policies, and written directives. Support birth family connections and maintain sibling bonds. Co-parenting. Supporting the relationships between children, their families of origin, and their communities is vital. Wherever a child comes from is part of who they are. Resource families play an essential role in helping a child's birth parents and families stay emotionally connected to the child and in supporting family reunification. When parents and resource parents work together, children return home more quickly and stay home. Children in foster care also get better care when the birth parent and resource families exchange information about the child and work together to make visits and communication positive. Children also feel less worried about their families if they see a positive interaction between birth families and resource families. Many children are worried about their loyalty to the birth family. If they like the resource parent, does that mean they can't like their birth parent anymore? Children feel better and safer if they see a resource parent and birth parent getting along. Additionally, a healthy relationship between the resource family and birth parents and families may result in the resource family becoming an ongoing support to the birth parents and families after reunification. The resource family can be someone to provide support to the birth parents and be part of their larger safety network. This kind of communication and support to birth parents and families may help prevent the child from re-entering foster care. What makes a successful resource family? It is important to build relationships with the child or children in your home. Whether a child or children is in your home for a day or a year, you will have an important impact on them. It is crucial that resource families support the child or children for who they are and recognize that traumatized children require patience, flexibility, and nurture. Resource families must allow children to make mistakes and understand that some behaviors are actually forms of self-protection that result from traumatic experiences. As resource families provide direction and guidance, it's important to parent so a child feels accepted and loved unconditionally. It is important to use positive reinforcement and discipline and to refrain from all forms of corporal punishment. Our trainings will provide you with the tools and skills you need to care for a child or children who have experienced trauma. Unconditional commitment means allowing children to make the same mistakes all children make. With accepting a child means accepting the whole child, including understanding that a child will always feel connected to their parents in one way or another, that they come from a culture that may be different than your own, and have had or has community that may be a very important part of their identity. Each child comes into a resource family home with a previous life and history that must be acknowledged, respected, and nurtured. Communication is also important. As you are getting to know someone in any relationship, it is important to communicate in order to gain an understanding of each other. This is true with children in foster care as well. Communicating the general norms of your family while also hearing their likes, dislikes, and preferences will go far in building a relationship with your children or child in your home. Healthy and positive communication does not only apply to the child or children in your home. Many people will enter your life when fostering, and it is important to keep healthy communication with your social worker, the child's family when possible, agency staff, and service providers.
Teaming. Resource families are part of the child's team, and as a team member, they are expected to partner and participate in aspects of the case. One of these responsibilities will be to work with the different social workers assigned to the child at various points. As a child welfare case transitions between programs and the court hearings, you are likely to have at least 3 different social workers assigned to the child within the first 60 days. Emergency response ER social worker, court social worker, and ongoing social worker. Other important people you may communicate and partner with include, but are not limited to, child's attorneys, field-based case aides, FBCA, assists with visitation arrangements, RFA social worker, assists with approval process for resource families and their homes, placement coordinators, support placement and transition plans, RDS caregiver support specialist, assigned specifically to support you. Peer Partners Educators, PPE, experienced mentor assigned to you. Service provider, depending on the child's needs. Other supportive services. The number of people involved in the child's case plan can be overwhelming, especially initially. For this reason, RDS provides each caregiver with individualized training and support.
Foster VC Kids has helped us in many ways, and how they've supported us is anytime we needed anything such as clothes, just support and just to talk, they've always been there. They've been an excellent support system for us.
Meet the Recruitment, Development, and Support Staff, RDS. Foster VC Kids has a caregiver support team called Recruitment, Development, and Support. RDS. The RDS team is here to help you at the point of your initial interest of fostering through the approval process and continues to provide you with support with each child you bring into your home and family. The RDS team specializes in development and support for all of our county caregivers. Our goal is to improve the quality of care, partnership, and support between resource families, social workers, the Child Safety Network, and birth families. Every resource family receives a Caregiver Support Specialist, CSS. The CSS provides access to multiple community resources to support a child's development and stability, trainings and methods of support to assist you in quality trauma-informed caregiving, one-on-one support to address concerns, problem-solve together, and identify solutions, connections to other experienced caregivers for a strong learning and support network, Resource Family Support Services. Ventura County provides resource families with numerous resources and layers of support to strengthen and equip them. Once approved, families are assigned a seasoned peer partner educator, PPE, mentor, supports caregivers throughout the process by providing training, information, and linkages between the resource family and social workers as needed. Some of the supports include monthly stipend, amount varies on age and needs of the child, financial and resource support for extracurricular activities, special needs, and school transportation, caregiver support specialists to assist you in times of need, peer support networks for mutual support and training opportunities, respite care. Families are eligible for 12 hours of free respite support that allows you to take a break while your children are cared for in your home. Hours may be increased based upon the special needs of the children. Foster HealthLink online portal to access your child's electronic health records. Educational advocacy, behavioral and mental health support. Independent Living Skills Program, ILP, provides services specifically created to help teens transition to adulthood. Discount programs, special services, and resources exclusively available to Ventura County resource parents. RFA Approval Requirements. To become a resource family, applicants must complete the following requirements: online or in-person orientation, complete 21st Century Resource Family pre-approval training, first aid and CPR certification, background checks, criminal, local checks, and child welfare for all adults living in the home or with significant contact, home environment assessment, comprehensive assessment, which includes the family assessment, health screening report, verification of income, TB tests or screening for all adults living in home or with significant contact, any additional recommended services. Required RFA forms: RFA 01A, Resource Family Application; RFA 01C, Resource Family Application Confidential; RFA 01B, Resource Family Criminal Records Statement; RFA 08, Tuberculosis TB Questionnaire and/or TB Test; Release of Information 5628009, RFA Health Screening 5628007, RFA Self-Assessment each applicant must complete, Employment Verification Form AD29, LIC 420 Budget Form. It is best to fill out, gather documents while you are attending training to assist the application process in the event that any unforeseen issues might occur and to prevent delaying the approval. We request that you submit all documents on the checklist when submitting the application packet. Incomplete application packets may be returned.
Helpful hints for application completion. It is critical that the application be completed fully. If you are having difficulty with any step in the process, we have staff available to help you complete your application. Please request assistance and a member of the RDS team will set up a time to meet with you. As you complete the application, please be mindful of the following requirements. Fill in all spaces and sections. If not applicable, write NA or draw a line through the section. If you cross out information, initial the section. Fill in each section completely. Use adults' full legal names. Phone numbers must include area code. Read each section and instruction clearly before filling out. Do not write minors' names on the Resource Family Application, RFA 01A. Complete the Resource Family Application confidential, RFA 01C, with the identified child or children information, if applicable. Use the RFA application checklist to make sure you have completed all required documents. Best practice. It is best practice to have all caregivers in the home apply as co-applicants and participate in the entire approval process. This will decrease delays for future permanency. Allow both caregivers to make decisions regarding the child or children in the home, and to proceed with permanency for the child or children if applicable. Avoid a disruption in placement if something were to happen to one of the caregivers. Adult clearance requirements. All persons 18 years or older must fill out an RFA 01B Resource Family Criminal Record Statement and receive criminal clearances when they are residing in the Resource Family home or on the property, providing care and supervision, or having regular contact with the dependent child or children. Be open and honest about any criminal history, including any arrests or expunged history. RFA will assess and obtain clearances or exemptions as appropriate. A background clearance consists of but is not limited to checks conducted through the following agencies: Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Child Abuse Central Index, Child Welfare, including out-of-state checks, Megan's Law, Superior Court, and the Department of Motor Vehicles. LiveScan, fingerprinting. LiveScan is a way to take inkless fingerprints, which are transmitted directly to the Department of Justice, the DOJ. The DOJ checks the fingerprints against known criminal history records, which include the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the Child Abuse Central Index databases. Results are then sent to the agency requesting agency for assessment. LiveScan request forms and instructions will be provided after a Resource Family application has been received. In order to expedite the LiveScan process, it is imperative that you schedule your LiveScan appointment as soon as you receive the form. Out-of-state child welfare checks. In accordance with the Adam Walsh Safety and Protection Law, all individuals which will reside with or have significant contact with a dependent child and have lived outside of the state of California within the last 5 years are subject to an out-of-state child welfare check. Requirements for the release of this information will vary among states. Department of Motor Vehicles Report. A DMV report is required for all adults who may frequently transport a child or non-minor dependent. Tuberculosis screening. A tuberculosis screening, RFA 08 tuberculosis questionnaire or tuberculosis test, is required for all applicants, adults residing in the home or with significant contact.
Health Screening Report. A health screening is required for all RFA applicants. Resource families must have a health screening physical from a physician with their original signature to verify that there are no physical conditions preventing you from becoming a resource parent. Health screenings may be obtained through your primary health provider or a local clinic and must not be older than 180 days at the time of application. Income requirements. Resource families do not get paid. However, they do get a fixed monthly reimbursement rate. The reimbursement is to be used for the children's food, clothing, toys, educational supplies, and personal hygiene items or needs. Applicants must have the ability to financially sustain their own household with verifiable income through LIC 420 budget form, employment verification, AD-29, proof of income, bank statements, tax returns. If you are self-employed, proof of income can be demonstrated by bank statements or tax returns. The RFA social worker may ask for proof of income if needed, or if there's a discrepancy between forms. Comprehensive assessment, family assessment. RFA has been designed to evaluate a family as a whole in a comprehensive manner. This family assessment provides an understanding as to how an individual's childhood, adolescent circumstances, and upbringing has impacted their behavior, belief systems, and interpersonal relationship. It further assesses a caregiver's ability to provide permanency for children in care. The family assessment includes a minimum of 3 home visits, interviews with the family that discuss the applicant's personal history, and family dynamics. The RFA approval process is a unified process and is applicable to resource families interested in foster care, guardianship, and adoption. This approach is efficient and reduces the amount of time it would take should a resource family change their focus at some future point. The family assessment does not mean you will have to adopt if you are not interested or ready. However, it is a requirement of the overall approval process. RFA Home Environment Requirements. General requirements. When children enter care, it is critical that they are cared for within a safe environment. The RFA program is required to complete an assessment of your home conditions which could affect the health, safety, and well-being of children or non-minor dependents placed in your care. No more than 2 infants, 0 to 24 months, may reside in the home. No more than 6 children or youth can reside in the home, including biological, adopted, or children under a guardianship. No more than 4 children per bedroom. If over a certain age limit, children must be of the same gender. Children of youth's records must be maintained and kept confidential. There must be an available fire extinguisher and first aid kit in the home. There must be a designated phone available at all times. There must be at least 1 available and age-appropriate car seat per child. Recommended: child-proof your home by installing safety devices. If you have pets, that they are child-friendly and are up to date on their vaccinations and licenses. Home and grounds. Areas observed include, but are not limited to, bedrooms, linens, lighting, age-appropriate furniture, closet, and drawer space. Each child must have an individual bed. All beds set up and ready at the time of home environment assessment. Cribs must be full size, no portable cribs, playpens, or drop-side cribs. No more than 4 children, youth, per bedroom. This includes foster, biological, relative, adoptive, and guardianship children or youth. Opposite genders can share a room only up to the age of 8. Bathrooms: safe, clean, and in working condition. Kitchen area: dangerous items will need to be inaccessible to children. Living areas: fireplace heaters require a cover or screen even when not in use. Carpets and furniture condition need to be clean and in good repair. Functional smoke and carbon monoxide detectors must be installed in the hallway of each sleeping area in the home. A detector and alarm shall be audible in each bedroom.
Outdoor activity space and bodies of water. Outdoor activity spaces around the home must be free from hazards that endanger health and safety. A resource family who accepts a child less than 10 years of age or who is developmentally, mentally, or physically disabled shall ensure that swimming pools, fixed-in-place wading pools, hot tubs, spas, or similar bodies of water are inaccessible. The pool shall be isolated from access to the home by an enclosure, such as a fence, wall, or other barrier that isolates a swimming pool from the access to the home as specified in the written directives. Here we have shown you some photos of appropriate fences and barriers for bodies of water. A resource family shall use the reasonable and prudent parent standard when deciding whether a child should have access to fish ponds, fountains, creeks, and similar bodies of water. Storage requirements. Medication. All medication must be securely stored and inaccessible to children. Cleaning solutions and disinfectants. All cleaning solutions and disinfectants must be securely stored and inaccessible to children. Poisons. All poisons must be in a locked storage area. Firearms, other dangerous items, or weapons must be locked. In lieu of locked storage of firearms, a resource family may use trigger locks or remove the firing pin. Ammunition and firing pins shall be stored and locked separately from firearms. A resource family shall apply the reasonable and prudent parent standard as specified in Section 11 through 12 in determining if it is age or developmentally appropriate for a child to have access to and use the following items. 1. Household kitchen knives and appliances for use in meal preparation. 2. Medications necessary for self-administration by the child. 3. Disinfectants and cleaning solutions for use in performing household chores. A resource family shall permit a non-minor dependent to have access to the following items. 1. Household kitchen knives and appliances for use in meal preparation. 2. Medications necessary for self-administration by the non-minor dependent. 3. Disinfectants and cleaning solutions for use in performing household chores. Be prepared. Prior to the RFA worker coming to your home for the inspection, there are a few other items you should have ready to show your RFA worker. These include a first aid kit or supplies, a telephone that your foster children will have access to, and an age-appropriate car seat if you are caring for children that require this. We also recommend having the home child-proofed and that you be prepared to show documentation of your pet's vaccination and licenses. Smoking prohibitions. California Department of Social Services prohibits people residing in an approved resource family home to smoke or permit any other person to smoke inside the home or on the outdoor grounds when a child is present. Resource family reporting requirements. Changes to the household composition. Resource families are to report any changes in the composition of the household which include additional individuals residing in the home, birth of a child, finalized legal guardianship or adoption, an adult moving in or out of the home, change in marital status, or a significant change in the physical or mental health of a child, non-minor dependent, or any other residents in the home including the resource family, within 24 hours by telephone, email, or fax, and in writing within 7 calendar days. A reassessment may be required. Changes in residence. Resource families are to report to any prospective changes in their physical address to both the child's social worker and their respective resource family approval social worker by telephone, email, or fax within 30 days prior to moving or as soon as the information is available. Unusual incidents. Resource families are to report any unusual incidents, including but not limited to accidental injury to the face, body, etc., or child absence to both the child's social worker and their respective resource family approval social worker by telephone, email, or fax within 24 hours or the next business day following the event. A written report, LIC 624 or equivalent, must be completed within 7 calendar days. Death report. Caregivers are to report the death of a child, non-minor dependent, or other individual residing in the home to both the child's social worker and their respective resource family approval social worker by telephone, email, or fax within 24 hours or by the next business day following the event. A written report, License 624A, must be completed within 7 calendar days. Suspected abuse or neglect. As a resource parent, you are a mandated reporter and are responsible for reporting suspected child abuse and neglect. You are not expected to investigate such allegations. Allow the children to speak to you, but do not press for information, as this may affect the investigation. You must immediately report any suspected child abuse and/or neglect information to the 24-hour child abuse hotline at 805-654-3200.
Children's personal rights. All children or youth in care have personal rights that must be protected by the resource family. While in foster care, children have the right to have appropriate care, supervision, food, clothing, shelter, services, safety, and security. These rights include, but are not limited to, live in a safe, nurturing environment that supports permanency, well-being, and normalcy. Be treated with respect and free from discrimination. Be protected from physical, sexual, emotional, or other abuse, and to be free from cruel, harsh, or unnecessary punishment, including hitting or spanking. Visit with their parents and have regular ongoing visits, unless prohibited by the court. Continue contact with family and friends as long as it is in the child's best interest, which includes confidential communication, including receiving and sending unopened mail, make and receive phone calls, unless prohibited by their caseworker or the court. Participate in activities that are appropriate for their age and development, such as after-school activities, summer activities, or work experience. When they are at least 16 years old, they have the right to apply for a driver's license. Attend religious services of their choice and practice their religion if they choose. Have minimal disruptions to their school of origin. Receive medical, dental, vision, and mental health care regularly and/or as needed to have access to age-appropriate, medically accurate information about reproductive health care, the prevention of unplanned pregnancies, STDs, and treatment of STDs at age 12 or older. To attend court hearings and speak to a judge, attorney, or their court-appointed special advocate. At 12 years of age or older, they have the right to be involved in their case plans and plans for permanent placement, and to receive information regarding out-of-home placement plans and/or any changes. They have the right to contact Community Care Licensing Division of the State Department of Social Services or the State Foster Care Ombudsman regarding violation of rights, to speak to representatives or these offices confidentially, and to be free from threats or punishments for making complaints. Reasonable and prudent parent standard. As defined in the Welfare and Institutions Code 362.04, reasonable and prudent parent standard means the standard characterized by careful and sensible parental decisions that maintain the child's health, safety, and best interests. The goal is to provide the child with a normal life experience in out-of-home care, empower the out-of-home caregiver to encourage the child to engage in extracurricular activities that promote the child's well-being, allow reasonable parenting decisions to be made by the out-of-home caregiver without waiting to obtain the social worker or juvenile court approval, reduce the need for social workers either to give permission or to obtain juvenile court approval for reasonable caregiving activities, respect the rights of children in out-of-home care. A resource family shall be responsible for applying reasonable and prudent parent standard with consideration for the age, maturity, and developmental level of the child, nature and potential inherent risks of harm resulting from the activity, best interest of a child based on information known. As a caregiver, you shall use a reasonable and prudent parent standard in determining whether to give permission for a foster child residing with you to participate in extracurricular enrichment and social activities that may include, but are not limited to, the following: sports, school or after-school activities, including band, dances, and field trips, leisure time, including bike riding, socializing with friends, shopping, and movies, community events, including concerts, fairs, dances, plays, celebrations of special events, dating, overnight activities lasting 1 or more nights, including sleepovers with friends, camping trips, field trips, babysitting. Applying this standard shall not contradict court orders nor result in denying the personal rights of a child as specified in Welfare and Institutions Code Section 16001.9. Vacations. We encourage families to include foster children in family vacations and outings. This is an important way to communicate to a child that they are an integral part of a nurturing family. Please note that the agency requires that all vacation requests be made in advance and approved by the child's social worker. There will be visits and appointments that the child may miss and need to be rescheduled. Caregivers must travel with the child's court order and placement agreement to prove and show that you have legal placement of the child. Traveling out of country requires its own standalone court order. If questions arise regarding care and supervision, you may contact the child's social worker or your resource family approval worker for more information.
When kids come into foster care, we often don't see those childlike qualities that we all expect to see out of children. But throughout their time in care, while they are matched with those supportive individuals and are getting really supportive services, we start to see that essence of childhood return to them. And that's a really beautiful thing to see, because none of us want to see children who are acting like adults, who are scared of the world around them. And so when all of us get to witness that growth, it reminds us all why we're doing what we're doing.
Care and supervision. Resource families serve as the child's primary caregivers while they remain in the foster care system. Thus, resource families are expected to provide a high level of quality care, nurture, support, and advocacy for the children in their direct care. This includes providing care that meets the needs of the child or non-minor dependent, arranging for alternative care and supervision as appropriate, ensuring that the child or children is not left alone or unsupervised overnight, allowing and supporting the child to participate in activities as appropriate, complying with the state vehicle code requirements, maintaining and supervising the child's cash resources and personal property, assisting in age-appropriate personal hygiene, arranging, assisting, and transporting the child to various appointments, providing direct care supervision to the child of a minor parent.
It's really, really difficult for a child, no matter how great the home is or how great the caregivers are. When the caregivers and the parents can meet and work hand in hand, and the child sees that both caregivers and the parents want what's best for the child, which is typically to be at home with parents, safe, then I think that the kids do a lot better. They thrive, they start to do better in school, they start to do better at home. They're just a lot happier.
Options for care and supervision. Any individual whom will be providing routine care and supervision for dependent children is required to complete a criminal clearance. This includes care and supervision while you are working, after school every day, or any time consistent care is needed. A clearance will not be required when a licensed daycare provider will be utilized, as they have already obtained clearances through the state of California. Occasional short-term, no more than 24 consecutive hours, care providers are not required to complete a criminal clearance. However, the caregiver should make a careful and sensible parental decision regarding the use of an occasional short-term babysitter that maintains the overall health, safety, and well-being of a child. This is recommended for medical or health-related appointment, personal appointment, evening out. Complaint investigations. It is common at one time or another for the agency to receive a complaint about a resource family. A complaint can be any information presented by any person regarding a resource family. It can be whenever there are concerns with the level of care, suspicions of abuse or neglect, or a violation of the written directives. We are required to address any concern about the child's well-being that is brought to our attention. Things to know. A complaint allegation is investigated to determine whether the resource family is meeting the written directives or any applicable laws. The identity of the complainant is confidential. All complaints will be investigated with an unannounced home visit, which may be immediate or within 10 days of receiving the complaint. RFA coordinates with CFS social workers and/or with community care licensing childcare dual license to conduct joint investigations when necessary. After 3 unannounced home visit attempts, a home visit may be scheduled with the resource family. RFA social worker is not permitted to provide any specifics over the phone. Resource family homes are responsible for becoming familiar with all RFA written directives. We understand that complaint investigations can feel stressful and may cause our resource families to feel concerned or even alarmed. Our goal as an agency is to thoroughly assess the allegations to determine how we can best support you through the caregiving process, whether this is by providing additional support or education. Furthermore, we want to ensure that our investigative process is fair, transparent, and respectful. RFA social worker's role for complaints. RFA social worker is required to respond and investigate any and all complaint allegations that are generated against a resource family. RFA works collaboratively with the resource family by providing education or providing a referral to the RDS team. Based on the information obtained during the investigation, the RFA worker, in consultation with their supervisor, determines the investigation outcome and collaboratively works on a plan of correction to address the concern if needed. Examples of issues of concern: smoking in the car or home and/or smoking outside of home when children or youth are present. Putting locks on windows in a child's room, obstructing their ability to exit in the event of a fire or other emergency. Allowing an individual 18 years of age or older to reside in the home without prior notification, clearance, and approval from the RFA worker. Accepting placement of a child who is not included within the age, gender, or capacity range that is approved and specified on the RFA certificate. Please note this list is not all-inclusive, and there are many other reasons and concerns that may generate an RFA complaint.
Issuance of a RFA approval and monitoring of resource families. Once a family is approved, the resource family is required to comply with all RFA written directives. Issuance of a RFA certificate does not guarantee that children or youth will be placed in your home. Approval does not entitle you to placement. Nevertheless, we are in need of high-quality resource families and continuously seek families for our children. The placement and RDS teams will meet with you to learn about your family's interests, strengths, and capacity so that we can make the best match for our children. Once a family is approved, the resource family is required to participate in an annual update if they seek to remain a resource family. Annual home visits are scheduled with the family. This includes a visit by an RFA social worker for an annual RFA home inspection and update, documentation of current CPR first aid certification, documentation of training per approved caregiver, required annually. It is the responsibility of the caregiver to maintain a record of training. Training may be attained through a variety of sources, including community colleges, counties, hospitals, etc. Annual training's topics may include trauma-informed care and attachment, core practice model, crisis intervention, behavior management, supporting children in school, effects of substance abuse on children, administration of psychotropic medications, and emancipation and independent living. Annual updates. As an RFA home, you will need to ensure that your CPR first aid certification is current and that you complete your required training hours. please visit the Foster VC Kids website to view options of training. Important things to remember. Please submit your original application documents to the RFA program. It is highly recommended that you submit the entire packet, as an incomplete application may be returned. What are the next steps? Once the application has been received, your assigned Resource Family Approval social worker will be contacting you to discuss the next steps. If you have general questions prior to submitting your application, please contact the Resource Family Approval General Line at 805-654-3405. Once you turn in your application, an RDS recruitment support person and peer partner educator will be assigned to you to help you through the process as needed. If you require application assistance, please call the RDS General Line at 805-654-3220. Complete the 21st Century Pre-Service Training classes. These are available on multiple days of the week and times vary, including weekends for your convenience. Fast track options are also available. Contact Kids and Families Together to register for pre-approval training at 805-643-1446, extension 151. While you are taking classes, you can submit the RFA application, take your TB test and physical exam, and complete your CPR and first aid certification. After your application and supporting documents are received, you can complete your live scan fingerprinting. We will work with you to complete an in-home inspection and finally, complete an RFA family assessment.
Thank you for being a home with a heart. We are grateful that you are taking this first step and hope that you will continue to open your hearts and homes to the children, youth, non-minor dependents in our community, including those with special physical, emotional, or behavioral needs, as well as adolescents, teens, and sibling groups. You can make a difference in the lives of families and children who are in crisis by helping them heal, reconnect, and grow into successful childhood and adulthood. For additional questions, please visit www.fostervckids.org or contact the Recruitment Development and Support Team at 805-654-3220.